Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into a report from the RMR Group Inc. And let me tell you, after reading this, I think their accountants deserve a raise because they are going to need it before we start. If you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below for even more insights from other investors. This report is called an 8K, which is like a quick update a company gives to the SEC when something important happens. In this case, it's about an investor presentation they put on their website. We'll check out the presentation to see what the company wants investors to think and maybe find some hidden clues about what's really going on. First off, the document is indeed a Form 8K, a current report. It tells us that the earliest event reported happened on June 2, 2025. The company is the RMR Group Inc. based in Maryland. The important part here is item 701, regulation FD exposure. Basically, the company is saying they posted an investor presentation on their website. The key thing to remember is that they don't have to update or change that presentation even if things change later. Also, it's important to know that this information in the report is simply furnished and not filed. What does that mean? It means that it's not legally as accountable as information that's filed, meaning they are not as liable if something isn't tenfold, meaning they are not as liable if something isn't 10 Jozard, meaning they are not as liable if something isn't 10 Vino. Also, the Tish thing to remember is information that's filed, meaning they are not as liable if something isn't 10 OFID. What does that mean? It means that it's not legally as accountable as information that's filed, meaning they are not as liable if something isn't 0% truthful. Exhibit 99.1 is where the actual investor presentation is located. It's a separate file that's included with this report. Let's take a look at it. I can't show the PDF itself, but I can give you the gist of it. Okay, I've reviewed the presentation, so let's see what is important here. RMR Group Inc. is an alternative asset management company. This means they manage investments in things other than regular stocks and bonds like real estate. A key point they make is that they are one of the oldest alternative asset managers, around for almost 40 years. They also make the claim that they have a diverse and growing platform with $41.3 billion in assets under management as the total value of the investments that the company manages on behalf of its clients. They emphasize having long-term relationships with REIT clients. REITs, or real estate investment trusts, are companies that own or finance income-producing real estate. RMR likes to present itself as having a consistent and predictable fee revenue. This means they earn money from managing assets and they want investors to believe that this income is reliable. They explain how their business model allows them to generate strong cash flow. Another key point, they talk about strategic initiatives to drive growth. That suggests they are trying new things to expand their business. Now let's zoom out and think about what all this means. First off, the alternative asset management business can be very lucrative because they often charge higher fees. If RMR truly has strong long-term relationships with REIT clients, that's a good sign of stability. The $41.3 billion in assets under management sounds impressive, but it's important to remember that UAM doesn't directly translate to profit. It only means how much they are managing. On the other hand, alternative investments can be riskier than traditional stocks and bonds. If the real estate market or other alternative asset classes perform poorly, RMR's term and revenue could decline. Plus, even though they tout their experience, that doesn't guarantee future success. And those strategic initiatives to drive growth, those could be great ideas, but they could also be risky bets that don't pay off. Also, their competitors might be bigger, more innovative, or have better track records. The report really doesn't have much in terms of financials, so it's hard to give a fair assessment. So what's the verdict? Well, RMR Group seems like a solid company in a potentially lucrative business, but like any investment, there are risks to consider. They need to keep innovating and adapting to stay ahead of the competition. Alright, that's our breakdown of RMR Group's investor presentation and the 8K filing. What's your take on these points and what they might indicate about the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.